Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. For those who are new here, I'm Libby.
And I'm Este.
In today's video, we wanted to experiment.
We're doing a bit of a wear test today
with two products that we love very much equally, but we wanted to do a comparison because they're so similar in formulation. It is the CLE Cosmetics CCC Cream versus Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Beautiful Skin Foundation. If you don't know much about these two products, we have a lot of videos on, especially the CLE Cosmetics CCC Cream, previous YouTube videos which we've uploaded, so you can check them out. But also the Charlotte Tilbury, we dove into a lot of detail in our Mecca review video. Charlotte Tilbury, in my opinion, it's very velvety and it leaves a nice dewy finish. It's in between like a natural and a more heavy duty one, right? Like it's not extremely heavy duty, but you can still wear it out to a nice event. And it just leaves a really nice airbrushed finish. Compared to the CLE Cosmetics CCC Cream, there is a much wider shade selection. It has a whole heap of benefits, skin benefits actually.
So with the CLE Cosmetics CCC Cream, it uses microcapsule technology. So what that means is that there's color in these capsules, and as you add friction, it bursts and provides a nice sort of tone to the skin. Just like the Charlotte Tilbury one, it does give a natural dewy finish. The difference between the two in terms of texture is that the Charlotte Tilbury one is more thick serumy texture, whereas the CCC cream has much more of a cream texture. So it does, as you're applying it, feel like a moisturizer or a sunscreen. The CLE Cosmetics, the benefit of it is that it does contain SPF 50, but again, we don't necessarily rely on this. We do wear sunscreen underneath that product. Unfortunately, with the CLE Cosmetics one, because obviously it's a smaller brand, their shade range is a lot smaller. So I'm gonna have to add a few shades together in order to get the color that I am. But with the Charlotte Tilbury one, I enjoy it a little more just because I don't need to shade match.
Yes. In terms of size, both of these products are 30ml. The CLE Cosmetics is priced at $54 AUD and Charlotte Tilbury is $65 AUD. So you're paying a little bit more for the Charlotte Tilbury, but yeah, again, it all comes down to how they perform.
What we've found is that the finish is very similar. Maybe the actual consistency of the product is a little bit different, but we are wanting to do a 10-hour wear test for you to see which one can handle our lifestyle. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So I've got my two products here now, the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I'm in 6 Neutral, and then in the CLE Cosmetics CCC Cream, I'm in the Warm Medium Light. I normally use the CCC cream with my hands, and the Charlotte Tilbury one, I normally use a brush. Well, actually, it really depends on the day, to be honest. But anyways, today, to keep things consistent, I'm just gonna apply both with a Sigma Kabuki brush. So I'm gonna apply the CCC cream first. You just apply that on, and then as you add friction, it will change color. So don't freak out, please. I am not going out like this. Duh. So let me just buff that out first before I apply the Charlotte Tilbury one. This is why I don't like getting long nails, because of that. Now let's just blend with this kabuki brush. And as you can see, it'll start sort of blending into my skin, starting to even out my skin tone. As we mentioned before, it is a really dewy finish. Because I have really dry skin, dewy is the look I always want to go for. So as you can see, it's giving me a really natural finish, not too cakey. What I love about this formula is that it's not streaky. Even when I use my fingers, I don't get fingerprints. So that looks like it's blended, and as you can see, it's really sort of evened out my skin tone. I always love to actually use my CCC cream or even a lighter shade as my concealer. The formula does not look cakey at all under the eyes, and it doesn't enhance any sort of fine lines that I have under there. I've been sleeping very late these days, so those fine lines are starting to creep up. Going in with the Charlotte Tilbury one. So that was about 1 pump. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury side. As you can see, again, it's a very dewy finish. It has, I think now that I have both of the products on my face together, I can see that the Charlotte Tilbury has a little bit more coverage than the CCC cream, but it almost looks like the same sort of product in terms of dewiness. I feel like the CCC cream is a tad darker. I think that the CLE Cosmetics one is a little bit more dewy, like a touch more dewy, I reckon. Neither of them look like they've got any streak marks. I'm not going to powder. Let's see how it holds up. It is a very dewy formula. Let's see how it holds up. Throughout the day, I've noticed with other foundations, I tend to start seeing the foundation breakdown normally around here or around my nose and also under eyes. So we'll inspect those areas a little closer as the night goes on.
So I am going to apply the CCC cream on the right side of my face and the Charlotte Tilbury on my left. For the CCC cream, I am in between shades. I mix a tiny bit of the warm medium with the medium, so maybe like an 80-20 ratio, 80% of the medium and 20% of the warm medium, just because the medium alone is a bit too ashy for my yellow undertone and the warm medium is too orange. I'm just going to use this flat kabuki brush, the Morphe M6. As you can see, the coverage on this stuff is so insane. I had so much dark pigmentation here from acne scarring and it has covered like a really decent amount of it. I'm going to do a touch more in my area of concern. Very, very glowy. Now going in with Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation, I am in the shade 7 Neutral. This one matches me perfectly, so no need to mix shades. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna need a bit more product for my acne scarring. Okay, all done. This is what it looks like freshly applied. I feel like the CCC cream side is slightly more dewier. Like there's an overall really glowy vibe on this side, whereas this one is still glowy and dewy, but just toned down a notch. When I was applying the foundations, I felt like the CCC cream sunk into the skin a lot more seamlessly than this one. This one, because it's slightly thicker, I felt like I had to work the brush a little bit more to spread it evenly across my face, whereas here it was just really creamy, just like a moisturizer, so I felt like it just spread and sunk into the skin more easily. But the finish of both is really beautiful. I get pretty oily on my T-zone throughout the day, so I'm just gonna powder that area and then maybe just a tiny bit under my under eyes. Okay, I've just finished the rest of my makeup. This is the finished look. The dewiness from both foundations has kind of died down a little bit because I, again, have powdered my T-zone and I used powder bronzer and blush. So I think that toned it down a little bit, but I do get a little bit oily throughout the day, so we'll see how it holds up. It is 9:30 right now, so I will see you in a few hours for an update.
Okay, it's been 2 hours now. The foundation at the moment still looks pretty good. It's only really been 2 hours. I haven't sort of seen it break down or anything. I am getting a bit of mascara smudging at the bottom. That's because, as I said before, I haven't powdered, so a lot of the mascara is coming down. So far, so good.
This is the 4-hour update in natural lighting. So both foundations are actually holding up very well. I would say that the CLE Cosmetics side is slightly more dewy or oily, but I mean my whole face in general isn't oily yet. Like to the touch, it is still quite matte. My nose is the one that gets the oiliest, so it's actually pretty good. Nothing has really worn off, but yeah, this side is just a tiny bit more dewy than this side.
It is now 5 p.m, which means it's been 5 hours. Right off the bat, I am definitely a lot shinier than what I started with, but do remember I didn't put powder on and I have been running around a bit trying to get things done. Both products are still doing pretty well on the skin because I rub my eyes quite a bit, especially under the under eyes. I can see that there's less product there and obviously less pigment there, so my under eye circles are sort of starting to peek through, but that's not the foundation's fault. Obviously, that's just me rubbing my eyes. In terms of the nose area, usually if I do get oily, it's usually around here. That all seems to be okay so far. I still think my complexion still looks quite even.
Alright guys, it is 8 p.m, which means it's been 10.5 hours since I've applied the foundations on my face. And here it is. To be honest, I'm actually quite impressed at how well this is holding up for both of them. I even remember touching my jawline a little bit throughout the day and my temples, because that's just out of habit, but it's not like it's removed any of the product. I think that my under eyes and my chin have held up the most, like they've stayed the most matte compared to the rest of my face. The CLE Cosmetics side, I do see like oiliness here and on my nose. Yeah, like on my temples, I get quite oily, so around here, I see more oiliness than the Charlotte Tilbury side. I think overall the Charlotte Tilbury has held up better, I will say. Looks more matte than the CLE Cosmetics, but not by a huge amount, just by like a smidgen. Again, both of them are so similar, so I'm being super nitpicky here, but if I had to choose which one had better longevity, I would say the Charlotte Tilbury. Just because the temples are more matte compared to the CCC cream, and also the coverage is more high than the CCC cream. So I felt that overall it just wore better over the last 10.5 hours. I think both of them performed extremely well. It's just that this one I would say is more suited for everyday wear. It has done very well, and I have tested this over 10 hours previously before, and this is kind of what I expected. It came very close to the Charlotte Tilbury, but I think this one, especially if you're going out or you're going to like a big event, this one is definitely more suitable and more reliable for longevity.
So it's 10:30 now, so we're well past the 10-hour wear test, and I look disheveled. I am about to get ready to go to sleep soon, but just wanted to give you one final check of what the makeup looks like. Here's a close-up. Things are starting to not look its best now. I am starting to lose a bit of the color around sort of my chin area. The nose, as I said before, had completely sort of come off in the Charlotte Tilbury side, but it looks like the CCC cream is okay still. I find that after 10 hours, I do feel like I want to take this off. And not in a bad way, but it's more that I kind of want to take this off and rehydrate my skin, maybe because it's nighttime or I'm ready for my nighttime routine, or that I've had this on my skin for quite a while now. After 10 hours, there is a little less pigment, especially under the eyes. Some of that is actually mascara. So my skin overall still looks kind of even, but we're starting to see some of my undertones come through, if that makes sense. So, you know, the under eye darkness, and a little bit of the redness around here. Either way, both of them stayed on pretty well. I would say probably the CCC cream a little bit has a touch more longevity than I reckon the Charlotte Tilbury one. And the way I judge that is what has happened sort of around the nose area. But that's pretty much it.
So there you go guys, those are our final thoughts on the CLE Cosmetics versus Charlotte Tilbury 10-hour wear test. We did end up choosing opposite products as the winners for the 10-hour wear test, but do keep in mind that Este and I do have different skin types. Her skin is very dry, which probably explains why her skin really loved the dewy formula of the CCC cream and sat on her skin a lot more better throughout those 10 hours than the Charlotte Tilbury. And personally for me, I have dehydrated combination skin type, so the Charlotte Tilbury for me maintained coverage the longest, whereas the CCC cream was so dewy that it almost slipped off my face and kind of wore off quicker than the Charlotte Tilbury. I guess this whole thing really depends on your skin type and also what finish you like in a foundation. But anyway, I hope you found this helpful nevertheless and enjoyed watching. If you did, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. But until then, we shall see you next time. Bye!